Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's episode, which is reviewing the current season 13 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and last night's episode 4, Hellevator, be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and shop our Soft Life merch down below. Grab a hoodie, grab a tote bag, live your best soft girl life. So with that, let's dive right on in. So overall, the first thing I want to talk about for last night's episode is I'm very disturbed by the dangerous narrative around Kyle not drinking. And I want to know if you guys thought the same thing that I did when hearing it. I feel like they keep conflating two issues that are separate issues. The first issue that they're talking about is, Kyle's not fun, she's on edge, she's not, being her normal fun Kyle self. And then they are equating that with Kyle not drinking. And I think that's a very, very, very dangerous narrative to conflate together, if you see what I'm saying. Because I think the fact that Kyle is being very nasty, she's clearly going through something, showing signs of maybe depression, anxiety, midlife crisis, just being really snappy and having an attitude, I don't think is because she stopped drinking. I actually think that it's a great thing she stopped drinking, because if you add alcohol to someone who is clearly going through something mentally and spiritually and emotionally, that is a ticking time bomb to explode. And I'm going to get more into that when I get to Kyle's slide. But I just wanted to preface this episode with that I was very, very, very disappointed with the dangerous narrative around drinking. It made it sound like, oh, she's having trouble in her marriage because she's not drinking. She doesn't, Dorit and Garcelle and Erica, she's not fun anymore because she's not drinking. If anybody in your life wants to put you down or leave you or walk away from you because you choose to stop drinking, wipe your hands of that person, say sayonara, and say good effing riddance. And I think it's dangerous that they are conflating these two things, because people who are struggling with drinking might think, yeah, well, I can't stop drinking, because if I stop drinking, then I'm not going to be the fun friend. I'm not going to be the cool wife. And, no one's going to want to hang out with me. My boyfriend's going to break up with me, or my girlfriend's going to leave me. I'm not going to be the life of the party anymore. I'm not going to be the easy breezy fun person anymore. So if I stop drinking, everyone's going to leave me and abandon me because I'm not going to be cool. I'm not going to be fun. So to me, I was like, this is very irresponsible, and this is very, very dangerous. And to be honest with you, remember how we did the whole Vanity Fair deep dive when in my opinion, the Vanity Fair expose on Bravo was very flat, it was very boring, it didn't expose anything. But drinking was a huge thing. Everyone's being forced to drink, everybody drink and blah, 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 blah. I think actually this has been the most irresponsible, tone deaf conversation around drinking that I've ever seen on Bravo. Like, Mauricio's leaving you because you stopped drinking. None of your friends want to hang out with you because you stopped drinking. You're no longer fun. I want you to be drinking. Why aren't you drinking? You're really not drinking? She's really going for it with these mocktails. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But we'll get more into it later and all this, the slides and everything. And then I want to know what you guys think too. I'm kind of underwhelmed by this season so far, a little disappointed. It's almost like a season of boring, bitter Bettys. It's kind of flat except for Sutton. I think Sutton is kind of the only person giving life, to be honest. And I call them boring, bitter Bettys to be a little cheeky, but really, I think the problem is that all of the women, and I really mean all of them, they seem really sad. And by sad, I don't mean like, oh, you're sad, you're pathetic. I don't mean that. I mean, they seem actually sad. I know Erica is a fraud. I know she lacks empathy. Trust me, I am not an Erica defender by any means, but I think she's really sad right now. I think Dorit is sad and going through it. Kyle clearly is sad and going through it. Garcelle, I think, is really sad. Sutton is really sad. Crystal may not be sad, but she's not even really on the show. So I think that's really what I'm feeling. It's more of I'm watching all of these women who are just in very sad and lonely places in their life, whether they are single and lonely, whether they're separating from their husband and lonely, whether they are divorcing and lonely, whether they're pretending they're happily married, but obviously lonely. It just seems like they all are just really sad. And I think that's really what we're feeling. And I don't know if it means like maybe Housewives should have like a shelf life because the truth is in every human life, if you are lucky to live long enough, you're going to have seasons of sadness. You have seasons of joy, you have seasons of just being cool and everything is just sort of like normal. And then sometimes you have seasons of sadness. And I think the reason why this season feels so not dark, because it's not dark the way it was last season or the season before that. But I think why it seems so heavy and sticky is because almost all of the women are in the same season of sadness. So I want to know what you guys think, I want to know what you guys think. So, we'll see about the sadness and everything. So we'll see. Okay, now let's dive into dissecting the episode. All right, so let's get into Ding Dong Dorito. All right, do you guys notice that PK and Dorit keep shading Kyle and Mauricio? Like, what is going on there? I feel like their fake friendship, like the work is showing. Because every chance they get, even in like their cadence, even in like the way, they say stuff like, oh, when Dirt was like, yeah, I was out with Kyle, and PK is like, oh, how's that? They just seem like they were very, I don't know, but it's very shady. And even PK, when he did the whole, Dorit birthday part or not birthday party anniversary, he was like, yeah, Kyle would be shocked if Mauricio did anything for her like this. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's underlining there, but there seems to be some like, I don't know if it's like a fake beef or if it's just like a frenemy situation or if something went down, if they're feeling slighted because Kyle and Mauricio kind of, cooled down their friendship with them. Because remember, Dorit was saying we haven't seen them as a couple for months. So maybe they're feeling some type of way. If you are friends with a couple and then that couple kind of pulls back, maybe they're feeling some type of way. Who knows? But I do say that I actually really do like Mauricio and PK's friendship and then them bonding over their failing marriages. Yikes, 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 insane. Like, I don't know, but I do like Mauricio and PK. I do. And quiet as it's kept, I actually like PK. I know he's a fraudster. I know he's a grifter. I know he's a scammer, but I like him. I like PK. He's kind of a moment, he's always good comical relief. Would I be friends with him? Would I trust him with my purse? No. Would I go into business with him? Absolutely not. But he's a moment. He's a little bit of reprieve from all the other heaviness, right? So let's get into Ding Dong Dorit being horrible for still making Garcelle pain about her. Like, when she was talking to Erica, she still couldn't just take accountability and be like, yeah, you know what? I was wrong. I was hijacking Garcelle's moment to be vulnerable and to talk. She's like, well, she can tell us how she feels, but like, where is that coming from? Like, her attitude, I don't know what it is, but Dorit's attitude around Garcelle is pretty disgusting. It's very, I don't even know what the word is, but it rubs me the wrong way. The way Dorit talks about Garcelle, the way she talks to Garcelle, very disrespectful. She talks to Garcelle in a very disrespectful way. And I really don't like it. I really, really don't. And Dorit, stop playing. Remember when she was like, oh my gosh, I would like Lorena Bob at PK if he cheated on me. Girl, bye. We all know PK been cheating on you. Didn't they say there was a woman in his car when he got the DUI? Isn't he allegedly living in Beverly Hills hotel separately? Do you think he's spending every night in those hotels by himself? Highly doubtful. And then weren't you also really upset about PK, always being in London? You think he's in London by himself? Probably not. So, girl, bye. You know that PK has probably cheated on you multiple times. So stop acting like you would be so clutched by pearls. I can't believe it. Yikes. Yikes, 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 yikes. Okay. Now, again, back to Dorit and Garcelle. In the bus, remember when right after the whole elevator situation, Sutton's in the bus, everybody's in the bus. Why did Dorit get out of her seat, fling herself over to Sutton? And Sutton was like, "Don't touch me." And then when Garcelle was just talking normally, Dorit kind of got in Garcelle's face, was like, "I don't want to yell at you." And Garcelle's like, I'm talking. Like, boo boo, Dorit, you're the one who physically got up out of your seat and put your physical body in front of Garcelle's face right next to Sutton. Why did you get out of your seat? Like, I don't know why you felt the need to get out of your seat. And don't say you were trying to comfort Sutton, because you weren't. You were still putting her down. You were still trying to come at her. And then you tried to come at Garcelle. So because you are so nasty, Dorit, and because you are so mean to people, Dorit, I'm going to share a little article about signs that you and PK are secretly broke. Since you have all the smoke for everybody else's situation, let's talk about your situation, boo-boo. Okay. So this article is all about PK and Dorit being secretly broke. And this is from Reality Tees. And if you guys are just coming in, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So here we go. Dorit and PK have had a difficult past few years, as aired on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Their marriage has hit a lull. This comes on the heels of two of their homes being robbed within the course of 5 years. Allegedly. The perpetrators of the first robbery were the only ones caught, while the second house's break-in remains unsolved. That's the one we were talking about. That's the one we did the deep dive on. That's the one that still remains unsolved. Because in my personal opinion, I think that was the robbery that PK staged in order to get the insurance money to get out of all of his gambling debts. Okay. Similarly, Dorit just had $10,000 stolen from her while shopping. Though on this, Dorit's ever-changing story feels shady at best. Again, we talked about this and did a deeper dive. I think that's a lie. I think the $10,000 number was very convenient, so it would be flagged. And then also, who carries $10,000 in cash in their bag while they're shopping with a cart? Doesn't make any sense. First, she said she was shopping for Christmas gifts. And then when she was called out that it didn't make any sense that she would have $10,000 in cash at a store, why wouldn't you use a credit card or a debit card, right? Or Apple Pay or Google Pay or Afterpay or whatever. Nobody uses that amount of cash anymore. Then her story changed to, "Oh, I got the cash out because I wanted to do bonuses for the staff." Well, if you wanted to do cash for bonuses for the staff, why didn't you get the cash and then go home? None of it makes sense. And then why didn't you say that in the first place? Girl, you lying. You conveniently had a new story when you got called out. Okay? Okay. So Dorit and PK owe a lot of money. Recently, rumors on Dorit and PK's debt swirled online. To explain, the U.S. Sun first reported that PK had paid off a $2.27 million debt to the Bellagio Casino back in 2022. Remember, they were able to pay that debt off because they got the insurance money. But don't get too excited. There are other financial obligations waiting in the wings, also needing to be paid. As for one, court documents show that Dorit paid off a $635,000 IRS tax lien from her and PK's 2015 taxes. That said, a certificate of release for the federal lien cleared only herself of this debt, not PK. Likewise, their 2017 and 2018 taxes also have debts attached which have not yet been paid. In fact, a tax lien that was filed in 2021 shows that Dorit still has an outstanding balance of $90,000 owed to Uncle Sam. Now, the reason why I think she paid that $635,000 IRS tax lien and it was only her name cleared, I bet you that was her Bravo money. And I bet you she was like, if I have to pay this with my Bravo money, I'm only clearing myself, not you. You see what I'm saying? Okay. PK has even bigger debts to fry. Shockingly, court documents show that he still owes a combined total of $986 and $800,000. Wait, 900. This is so much, you guys. $986,000. So that's almost $1 million to the IRS. Ouch. These debts to the state of California hail from PK's 2014 and 2016 taxes. With this much money owed, Dorit and PK's ability to live as largely as before will be reduced. Showings of this very thing are actually quietly creeping in on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 13. These signs lead us to believe that the two are secretly going broke. I don't think they're secretly going broke. I think they are very obviously broke. Okay? Let's move on to number 2. Dorit ditched her signature platinum locks. So Dorit loves fashion and she isn't afraid to go bold with her appearances. Therefore, Dorit looks have greatly changed over the years. As we know, she's gotten multiple plastic surgeries, all of that stuff going on. I'm not trying to shame her, but, lip injections, nose job, cheek injections, a little bit of a chin. She also has lost a ton of weight from how much she used to weigh before. And I'm obviously not weight shaming anybody. We're just talking about her appearance changes. Okay. Her hairstyles have gone from big and bold to sleek and sexy. Her hair color, however, has remained varying shades of light blonde. But this season on Bravo, Dorit entered into it with much darker locks than we've ever seen. Though we have to give her some love as it looks great. Does it? You let me know. Do you prefer her blonde or brunette? I prefer her blonde, but that's just me. To backtrack, when blonde is not someone's natural color, a lot of money is needed to obtain and maintain the perfect shade. To start, a hairstylist needs to do a double process, also known as a bleach and tone. Moreover, Dorit's platinum shade is a high maintenance color with additional root touch-ups required every few weeks. In short, it costs a lot of money to maintain Dorit's old head of hair. Now she's a full-blown brunette. To us, this looks like a sign that her glam money is drying up. Speaking of that glam money drying up, downsizing, Dorit has ditched her glam squad. When Erica Jane entered the scene in season 6, she was joined by her glam squad at every turn. On air, she admitted that the cost of her upkeep totaled $40,000 each month, which, yikes. In turn, Ding Dong Dorit followed suit, hiring her own glam squad for her travels and her local showings with the cast. Kyle Richards even yelled at Dorit in season 9 over this matter, as Dorit had spent so much time getting ready she was late for a Malibu wellness retreat. Don't come in your fake workout clothes when you're not going to effing work out. I think it's effing weird, okay? Kyle screamed. I have a life, Kyle, Dorit yelled back, throwing the shade we've all come to know and love. The editors then showed Dorit's Instagram, where she had posted pictures of her look from when she was, quote, running late. Well, this season, Dorit has passed on her glam squad. Did you notice that she didn't have her own glam squad for her birthday? Like PK had to put everything together. And then also with the Vegas trip, she also did not come with glam squad. They've already gone on a retreat and taken a trip to Vegas, and still her looks all have been her own doing. We're actually glad that she's toning it all down, as life is too short to waste in a chair, but this is still just another sign that she and PK are broke. Okay, and now the last sign, you guys, is this one. PK rented Dorit's anniversary necklace, and he hosted her whole anniversary dinner and moment in the same hotel he's allegedly living in. So currently, Dorit and PK are working on their marriage. So in episode 2, PK arranged an anniversary surprise for his wife. This surprise included a cameo from the band Berlin, a dress, a glam squad, a meal, and a $5 million necklace. Career-wise, PK manages several artists. This is just us going out on a limb, but as for Berlin's guest appearance, it's possible that their fee was waived in exchange for airtime and or a friendship with PK. But as we cannot be sure, we'll just stick to the facts regarding the necklace, which was just on loan. Like, why didn't he give her a gift she could actually keep? You see what I'm saying? And then he did the whole dinner, the whole everything. I think it was the Beverly Hills Hotel or the Beverly Hilton, one of the two. Isn't that the same hotel he's allegedly living in? So if you're already a guest, you get access to all of the amenities, to the extra space, to the extra rooms, to the dinners, all of that. So it's not like he actually did anything extra for her. While PK, we'll give PK credit as we found this to be a sweet anniversary experience overall, but this is still a sign that they are going broke. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that these are concrete signs that, PK and Dorit are going broke, or is this just news we already know? Yikes. All right. Now be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And let's move on to Miss Erica Jane. All right. So it's obvious that Erica is just pretending to be Zen. And I think the whole reason why she's pretending to be like Zen and, giving up fighting for Lent and she's a whole new Erica is because she doesn't want to give the feds any more footage to use against her in court. She finally admitted in this episode that she's now worried about her freedom. And we said this a couple of lives ago. Remember when I said the reason why Erica is now, turning a new leaf and, trying to be nicer to people and not going off the deep end? I was like, it's because she's now actually shook. And she admitted that tonight or last night on the episode about her freedom. She was going buck wild last season because she wasn't actually worried. She thought, yeah, they have all these lawsuits, but they're not going to come after me. But once Tom Girardi got indicted, once everybody around him got indicted, then I think she got shook. And I think that's the real reason why she's trying to act all cool and humbled now. Girl, bye. I'm also really tired of Erica lying about the demise of her marriage with Tom. She keeps trying to be like, he's so mean and it was so awful. And like, it's over when you resent the person. Girl, you and Tom were just as in cahoots, just as in love as ever up until the day everything hit the fan. If you and Tom are so resentful, if it was so toxic, if the marriage was so over, why is he still funding your life? We know that for a fact. He had his friends with their little, contingency accounts funneling money to Erica, money that she still has access to. That's why all of his friends are, giving Erica money. I don't think it's out of their pocket. I think it's money that Tom set up in case he ever went down. Erica would have access to this money. And these are his friends that he's been doing fraud and shady stuff with. I don't think these men are just giving Erica money out of the kindness of their hearts. I think it's from Tom's slush fund. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing. Also, why are you still in communication? And why are you still there for him when he got indicted? Also, I'm really tired of this narrative about Erica feeling like she's so destitute and, building back her life. Like, girl, stop. We still know that you have all this money to hidden, all this access to hidden money. You're living in a multi-million dollar house. You still have glam. You're doing a residency in Las Vegas. You have designer clothes. You have money for Ozempic. You know, you have all the paintings and everything. You have more now after all of this has, quote, happened to you than 99.9% of the rest of the freaking world. You still have more money, more privilege, more access, more things than the majority of the people on this planet. So, Erica, when you have to actually worry about where your next meal is coming from, not having a car to drive to work, not knowing, not having a safe home to live in. There are people right now living in tents, living on the street, living in shelters with their children. So until you are at that, Erica, you just need to shut the hell up because everything you have in your life is stolen. And it makes me sick watching the other women be like, oh, well, Erica, yeah, you're just so strong. Like, I can't believe it. Yeah, and like, do you think you'll get it back? And like, what? Like, Garcelle, I was like, Garcelle, are you drinking this BS Kool-Aid? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Like, stop. It's crazy. It's crazy. And you still are having a lavish lifestyle. Erica's life, literally in this current moment, is more spectacular and opulent than the majority of the people on our planet will ever experience. And she has the audacity to play victim when there are still real victims out there, right? It's a mess. Also, Erica's true evilness showed when she tried to call Sutton out at the elevator. And then when she said it was an act of God in her confessional. Keep God's name out of your mouth, Erica. God doesn't claim you. Keep his name out your mouth. God gave me this moment to be evil to somebody. Shut up, Erica. Shut up. It was completely unnecessary and she hasn't changed and her mask slipped. 100%. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Your mask slipped. You're still the same person. You're still doing these very scripted monologues. You're still doing the fake tears. You're still playing like you're a victim in this. You're not a victim in this at all. You're still the villain and you're still evil and nobody is, can't believe people are falling for this act. Stop. All right, now let's go to our girl Sutton. So I love seeing Sutton let loose and ride the bull and all of that. And I also felt really bad for her when Erica threw her under the bus at the elevators with the dancers. Like, it was no need to go that hard and everything. And I agree, Miss T. I agree 100%. Erica set the elevator up. They had a private suite. She planned it. I agree. That was 100% planned. And she just miraculously opened the elevators up and they're there. That's why I'm saying Erica is still evil and manipulative and conniving. Erica couldn't just outright go after Sutton, but if a miraculous act of God and they just happened to be in the elevator, then she could go in on her. And this is the thing. Did Sutton overreact at Magic Mike? Sure. She was in her feelings. She got triggered and she did a little bit of the most. But if we're being honest, the person who escalated that situation was Kyle. Garcelle was talking to Sutton calmly. Sutton was trying to explain what was going on with her. Kyle's the one who came out. Sutton, it's about the pants. And Kyle is the one that called Sutton a bitch first. Before Sutton called her one, Kyle called her one first. And then Kyle was the one who went back and was like, oh, Sutton's upset. She's mad about the pants, blah, 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 reporting the story half back. That's why Sutton was getting in Kyle's butt at the end of the episode. So did Sutton overreact? Yes, she did. But who escalated the situation and stirred the pot was Kyle. And then also, Sutton took accountability. She said, yeah, I overreacted. Yeah, I did too much. I'm sorry. I feel bad. But then how come they kept bringing it up? Why didn't they just let it go? Why were they still talking about it on last night's episode? If Sutton overreacted so horribly, but she did take accountability and apologized, why won't you just let it go? They kept bringing it up. Erica kept bringing it up. Ding Dong Dorit kept bringing it up. Kyle kept bringing it up. Let it go. Or are you happy that Sutton overreacted, so now you have something to run with? I'm not saying Sutton handled the situation perfectly. She didn't, but she's a human being. We all pop off sometimes. We all get in our feelings sometimes, and we don't always act 100% appropriately and, emotionally intelligent at all times. We're humans, we don't. She took accountability and she apologized, and the women would not let it go. They're like a dog with a bone. So that's kind of where I land on that. Now, I'm really proud of Sutton for standing up for herself against Kyle and Erica. Her Erica impersonation was hilarious. I loved how she looked at Kyle and she's like, don't talk like that to me. And I loved when she was in the confessional and she was like, look, I realize Kyle is not my true friend and she will never have my back. Exactly. Kyle is not your true friend and she will never have your back. In fact, she's sending Anne-Marie. Well, she's sending Anne-Marie after what's her face? Crystal. But the reason why I think Kyle has an issue with Sutton is, one, I think she's jealous of Sutton's money. And two, I think she's jealous that Sutton and Kathy are still such good friends. Because remember in episode 1 of the season, Kyle was complaining about it. She was like, yeah, well, Kathy throws really good parties. And that's why Sutton wants to be friends with her. No, Kathy is just a cool, normal, fun person. She's a vibe. And Kyle, you're not. You're a weirdo. You're all over the place. You're freaking unhinged. And who would want to be friends with you when you act like this? Because a lot of the Magic Mike drama was because Kyle escalated the situation. She added fuel to the fire. And go back and watch, because that's what happened. It's crazy. And isn't overreacting kind of a part of being a housewife? Look, everyone's looking for moments. Everybody's looking for a beat. And then again, like I said before, why did Dorit get up and move next to her on the bus? Like, please stay in your seat. And I would be annoyed too. And I would be like, Sutton, don't touch me. Why does everybody want to put their hands on Sutton? Dorit tried to put her hands on her in the bus. And Sutton was like, don't touch me. And then remember Kyle last season when she was shaking Sutton at Garcelle's birthday party? Kyle had her hands all over Sutton, over freaking Diana Jenkins. Girl, bye. I just loved Sutton. I love Sutton. She looked at her, she's like, don't talk to me like that. And she goes, name them. I was like, Sutton, I am obsessed with you. Obsessed. All right, now let's move on to our girl, Garcelle. Like I said, I do love Garcelle and Sutton's friendship, but I will say this. I'm kind of side-eyeing Garcelle a scotch, because I feel like she does kind of jab at Sutton too much. And when she's at, the lunch with Erica, she kind of has Sutton's back, but like kind of not. And then in the confessional, she's like, well, I don't really need to defend Sutton all the time. She can fight her own battles. But then Garcelle expects Sutton to always defend her and to be on her side. So, because she complained about it last season at the reunion, like, I wish Sutton had my back more and she spoke up for me more. But now you're saying she can fight her own battles and you don't need to defend her all the time. So I kind of feel like, I don't know. I felt some type of way about it. Like, I think that you can have your friends back without being, I don't know. Like, how do I want to say this? Like, I feel like Garcelle and Sutton can defend each other without enabling each other, and without blindly defending each other. Like, I don't think they have to blindly defend each other. But I'm kind of looking at Garcelle a little bit squinty, where I'm like, you can let Sutton be Sutton and let her react how she reacts. Not that you have to blindly defend her, but like, Erica is not your friend, Garcelle. Dorit is not your friend. Crystal is your friend when it's convenient for her. Kyle isn't your friend. So you might want to make sure you're placing your bets on the right horse. Because if there's anybody on that cast that is going to actually ever hold you down, it's going to be Sutton. So just be careful with that, like, kind of jabby at Sutton stuff. And again, like the other episode, I don't think Garcelle meant it in a mean way, but Garcelle was the one who started the whole going after Sutton because Sutton could never get a second date and trying to have an intervention with her and kind of calling her out and almost like shaming her for it, right? And I don't think Garcelle had any ill intentions, but if I was Sutton, I would feel some type of way. My feelings would be hurt. Like, that doesn't feel good when the entire group of girls are laughing at you because, like, you can't get a man, you can't keep a man, and you can't get a second date, and you're weird and you're awkward, and we gotta, what you wear. They're judging what you wear on these dates. They're judging, how you text the guy. Like, I would be sad. My feelings would be hurt if that was me. I would be like, what the F? Like, you guys, calm down. It never feels good when an entire group is criticizing you about anything in your life. It just doesn't feel good. And I don't think Garcelle meant anything by it, but she did start it. So we'll see what happens with that. But with that being said, I do love Garcelle. I do love Sutton. I love their friendship. I love that she made sure to vindicate her son Oliver because of the whole Rachel kiss. I am so over and dead with Scandival. Like, I don't even know if I'm watching the new season of Vanderpump Rules. I don't want to see Ariana, to be perfectly honest with you. And everybody else, who cares? Like, I don't even know if I'm going to watch it. Like, what is there to watch? We've seen it all in social media. We'll see. Yes, and I also don't like Garcelle and Dorit and Erica forcing this Kyle needs to drink in order to be, fun narrative. Being like, oh, she's really just doing the mocktails. I want the old Kyle back. And I said this at the beginning of the video, but I think it's very dangerous that they keep equating and conflating Kyle's problematic crisis personality now with her not drinking. They are two completely separate situations. They're correlated, but they're not related. They're separate. And it sends a very dangerous message to people who may be struggling with their alcohol consumption and the people out there who think, well, if I actually stop drinking, my friends are going to think I'm boring. No one's going to want to hang out with me. My husband's going to leave me. It's a very, very dangerous message, and it's wrong. It's wrong. Now, she was messy as hell for bringing up the monogamy and cheating question, but I love it. And I also think that was clearly a producer-planted question. Every time they're on a table and they have these, quote, games to play, we all know the producers printed up the questions on the game cards. And that's another thing about this season. It's feeling heavily produced. Heavily produced. You know what I'm saying? Heavily produced. And clearly that was a producer-planted question because of the Kyle, not just Mauricio cheating on Kyle rumors, but Kyle cheating on Mauricio. How come that's not being questioned? Everyone's talking about the men cheating, but at this point in time, Kyle is all over the blogs, basically tonguing down Morgan. So why aren't they bringing that up? Because if you want to question whether or not your husband's cheated, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We need to talk about, Kyle, are you cheating? Just because Morgan is a woman doesn't mean it's not cheating. You know how we roll over here. Love is love. Love is love. Gay, straight, bi, tri, whatever. We're all human beings and love is love. So if it's with a man or a woman or a donkey, it's still cheating. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. I don't know. Garcelle, I hope you're not drinking the Erica Kool-Aid too much. Now, this is the thing. Do I think Erica likes Garcelle? I actually do. And I've said this forever. I do think that Erica wanted to be friends with Garcelle, but the problem was Lisa Rinna. Her big boss, Lisa Rinna, was never going to have it. And now that Lisa Rinna is gone, I do think Erica is trying to form a friendship with Garcelle. But with that being said, Erica is a snake. She's a scorpion. And it's like that tale when like the frog and the scorpion go across the pond, and the scorpion's like, I won't bite you because if I bite you, I won't sting you, because if I sting you, then we'll both die. And the frog's like, okay, scorpion, come on my back. And the frog's like taking the scorpion across the lake, and then zing, the scorpion stings the frog, and the frog is like, why did you sting me? And the scorpion says, it's my nature. That is freaking people like Erica Jane. It is simply their nature to betray people, to be frauds, to be evil, to, cut anybody else's head off to get what they want. So keep playing around with Erica if you want to, Garcelle, and you're gonna mess around and find out. But if you messed up your friendship with Sutton to be friends with Erica, I'm looking at you real sideways and crazy. But I do really like you, and I hope that's not what's going on. But Erica is nobody's friend ever. She told us she doesn't give a damn about anybody but herself, and she meant that. She meant that. So watch your back, Garcelle. Watch your back. Don't fall for the okie doke. All right, now let's get to Crystal. Crystal is actually fun this season, but production is definitely editing her out. Like, Crystal wasn't even a friend of so far. She's kind of like a bloop character. Her storyline is just asking the other ladies about their lives. Like, that's all Crystal does, is ask other ladies about what's going on with their stories. Like, they did Crystal so dirty. I don't know who Crystal pissed off in production. I don't know what is going on, but it's just crazy. It's crazy. And that's really all I have to say about Crystal, because that's all we got. It was her birthday. Okay. She had lunch with what's her face? I don't even remember who she had lunch with. Erica, maybe? Justice for Crystal. Justice for Crystal. Anne-Marie will come along, and she's going to be a plant by Kyle, and she'll start going after her. Maybe then they'll show Crystal more, but as of now, they're kind of playing the hell out of her. Okay? Now let's go to Kyle. Oh, girl. Kyle is unhinged and out of control. She is projecting all of her inner anger and frustration onto Sutton and everybody else around her. And this is the thing. If you are angry at everyone, then the problem is you. If you're angry at your husband, angry at your friends, angry at, a freaking hole in the wall, you are just angry. And Kyle needs some deep therapy. I mean, some deep therapy. She needs to deal with her childhood trauma. She needs to deal with the trauma of her friend passing away. She needs to deal with just a lot of stuff, her own identity crisis going on here, And I never thought I would say this, but I feel bad for Mauricio, because Kyle is just so blatantly mean to him and disrespectful. And at the end of the day, I'm no Mauricio fan, but girl, come on. Come on. You had me over here rooting for Mauricio. I think he's a bit clueless as to why you are so angry with him, because I don't think it has anything to do with cheating. I really don't. I think it has nothing to do with cheating. And I said this before. And then this episode confirmed our theory, because a lot of the theories we've been talking about are now being confirmed. I'll jump to that. Okay. So remember over the summer, I said that the reason why Kyle is going so crazy and separating and doing all the most for Mauricio is because after her friend died, he was too focused on work and everything else, and he was not there to support her emotionally. And isn't that exactly what she said tonight? Everything's being confirmed now. And the reason why I say that it's not about the cheating, and I think Kyle is lying through her teeth, because she was the wife who said, just don't let me find out about it. Just don't embarrass me. You don't have cheating allegations that your husband is cheating on you and that you've been cheating on him, because there's been allegations of that too for over a decade. And then all of a sudden now that's the reason why you're divorcing. I don't think so. I don't think it has anything to do with infidelity. I do think that the rumors that he was cheating with Dorit was a issue, was a pain point You know what I mean? Was one of the nails in the coffin, was a straw on the Campbell's back, but I don't think that cheating in and of itself is why all of this is going down. I think Kyle cracked a bit. I do. That's why she's lost all the weight. That's why she's pretending to be in a lesbian relationship. That's why she has, 5, 6, 7, 8 tattoos. That's why she's popping off at Mauricio. That's why she's popping off at Sutton. That's why she's popping off at Dorit. Their friendship is obviously very strained and forced and phony. To me, Dorit and Kyle, that friendship is over and they're just pretending. I don't see any genuine, real friendship between them anymore. It's all very fake, all very surface and all of that stuff, right? I think she's having a big crisis for a lot of things, getting exposed last season, the world taking Kathy's side, people seeing Kyle for who she really is, everything, you know what I mean? And then I think, so I do think she's going through all that. And like I said before, I think the reason she's so angry at Mauricio is because he was just checked out. And unfortunately, I think he still doesn't get, I still think he doesn't even get it, that's why she's so mad at him. That literally all she wants is for him to prioritize her, to make time. Like, I bet you if Mauricio was like, I'm going to take a week off of work, 2 weeks off of work, I'm going to cancel everything. And I just want to take you, Kyle, somewhere and just totally pay attention to you and listen to you and be there for you. That would probably save their marriage right there. But Mauricio is just completely, and I'm not excusing this because to me, it's the clearest thing in the world. I think he's still kind of in the dark as to what's going on. And I don't know how he is, but she clearly said it last night. And I've been saying that since last summer or this summer, whenever the hell this happened. Okay. Now let's talk about her drinking. I think the fact that Kyle is not drinking is fantastic and amazing. I think if you combined where Kyle is currently mentally and emotionally and spiritually and even physically, because she lost all the weight, adding drinking to that would be horrible. Horrible. When you're going through anxiety, when you're going through depression, when you're going through a crisis, when you're going through emotional instability, the last thing you need to do is add alcohol to that fire. The last thing you need to do is add alcohol to that fire. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's really like as much as we're seeing Kyle pop off now, imagine her drunk. Imagine her blacked out. So I think she's doing the right thing by not drinking. And I feel like, and I want to say this in a very sensitive, respectful way. I love to clown Kyle. I don't dislike her or hate her by any. Some people are like, why do you hate Kyle? I don't hate Kyle. I don't hate anybody. This is for fun and a good kiki. So as much as I love to clown Kyle, it did occur to me, and this made my heart break when I kind of clicked for me. When she was saying, I need to be clear right now. I really need to be clear. It made me wonder if she has ever had the same thoughts that her friend has had. Because my gut is saying, again, I'm not saying this is a fact. I'm not a doctor. I don't know Kyle or her friend who unfortunately passed away. This is just a gut feeling I have. I have a gut feeling that her friend probably was under the influence, probably very drunk, maybe some other things going on. Maybe her friend was going through her own marriage problems. Maybe there's some infidelity in that marriage. She was already had a history of struggling with her mental health. And maybe her friend was in a very similar position of drinking too much in an unhappy marriage. And just those thoughts, unfortunately, got the better of her. Because as we know, Kyle's friend, unfortunately, ended up no longer being with her by her own hand. And when Kyle said, I need to be clear right now, what came up for me was, has she had those same thoughts? And is that why she's now sort of not drinking and really focusing on her health and having this sort of like hyper setting boundaries and hyper, standing up for herself and I can do whatever I want. Because a lot of times when people start to heal or they start to reevaluate their lives, they do become sort of hyper vigilant, which we see with her. I can do whatever I want, Mauricio. Like, you can't tell me what to do. It's my body and blah blah blah, and living at extremes, all of that stuff. When they start on that journey, they become hyper focused. They do extremes and they're hyper vigilant. Like, I'm gonna tell you my boundaries. So it occurred to me, I was like, I wonder if she's trying to save herself in some way, And so I don't know. I got shooketh and I got goosebumps. And you know what? I'm going to add to the description box down below. If anybody is struggling or if anybody has ever had those thoughts, know that those thoughts are not the truth of who you are, and know that there is help. So I'm going to add I don't care if this demonetizes this video. I'm going to add a suicide hotline number to the description box of this video. So if anybody listening, if you've ever had these thoughts or these feelings, know that you're not alone. Know that help is out there. And I'm going to add the phone number to the hotline down below if anybody needs support or help. Because I feel like a lot of Kyle's rebellion, and it has to do with her trying to save herself with everything that happened. And then also when Dorit was talking to Kyle and was saying, oh, not drinking and, the working out, are you trying to get a sense of control? And I said that before when I said, to me, it's been very clear that Kyle has kind of cracked a bit and is kind of having this identity crisis, midlife crisis, all of that stuff. And all the and also, like, I called it attention-seeking behavior, but also with like losing all of the weight and the not drinking and the working out and the boundaries. That is also another way to get control, because a lot of people with disordered eating, it's about control. They feel that whether they overeat or undereat, they feel like they don't have control in any other aspect of their life. But the one thing they can control is what they eat or what they don't eat. And so they try to have this sense of control with their bodies, right? So I agree with Dorit with that. So I do think that Kyle is kind of doing all of these things. They're a big cry for help. A big cry for help. I'm not saying she has had these thoughts. I don't know her personally, but that's just what came up for me. Because when you saw her face when she was like, I need to be clear right now, it just, in my gut, I was like, she's had those thoughts too, either before her friend or after her friend. And I think that maybe her and her friend were maybe in similar situations and her friend succumbed to it. So that's kind of where I landed on that. So, oof. Kyle. Listen, I clowned the hell out of you, Kyle, but I do want you to be healthy. I do want you to be happy. I do want you to be okay. So as much as I clown you, I am sending you a lot of love, a big hug, and, get the support and love that you need, whatever that actually looks like. All right, you guys. So that was kind of my recap and review of last night's episode. I'm going to drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and talk with me. And then I'm going to take some of your candy cane questions and comments. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Let's see here. I want to get that other slide up. Okay. All right. Let's take your candy cane questions and comments. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Hi, Amy. Amy says, happy Thursday, sweetheart.